Over your career, you've done a lot of different work across a lot of different areas, film, television, stage, which allow you to kind of use all your tools in creating a character. When you're doing animated work or voiceover, obviously you just have your voice to it. Has it been easier or
No.
much more difficult?
It's been much more difficult, not unpleasantly so. In fact, it's been what I would really describe, it was the most adventurous time in many ways I've had as an actor, certainly in a long time. It reminded me in many ways of what it felt like to be when I was very young and first discovered I wanted to be an actor, because it required, to voice a role like this, it required a severe sense of play. It required a severe sense of trust in really the director, in our case Tim Johnson, who was wonderful, who was really like your seeing eye dog through the whole process. And it required you to really get an image in your head. You haven't seen what they're going to do with it yet. You know, you voice these scenes, and most of the time there's no other actors with you. There's certainly no set or costumes, and the whole thing's just taking place in your head. And it took a while to get used to, but once I did, I would find that the several hours in a row spent in the recording studio were such a pleasure, because it was such a trip, and again, such a sense of play. A real workout, a shocking amount of sweat for it to be just a voice recording. I was very surprised at the amount of physical effort it took to get your point across vocally. But that's the price you pay for having no other tools at your disposal to use. And then the greatest thing of all is seeing some of the finished products when they animate them. I really kept thanking the animators, and I was like, you are the great excuse makers. I hear lines that I remember recording and thinking, not exactly how I wanted to say that. What did I want? The way they animated, it's like, it works perfect.
Right?
They built around it. That's exactly right. And it makes it the only way to have said that. But that's them. That's not me.
Well, I mean, the movie's based off of a very well-received book. Did you go back at all to any of the essays that the book is made up to kind of get into the headspace of the character, or did you just kind of trust the script?
A combination of both. I have the book.
Okay.
And I have dealt with the book, but I felt a real separation of letting this process be what this process needs to be, you know. And I think I've done an excellent job of taking the heart of that, but making it its own beast, as it were. And again, going back to the director, it was crucially important that he be my main guidepost through this, you know, because he was the one person who could see ahead, because he was executing his vision of it. And I truly couldn't. It was only his words. It was always very fun to see things play out that you could remember what it looked like in your head when you were recording it. And it would be so vastly different once it was actually executed. And it worked obviously just as well. It was kind of a lesson in how there are many different ways to look at a situation and it can still be successful.
There's a lot in this film about kind of an outsider, kind of finding their place. There's a lot of films that have been kind of exploring these themes and ideas as of late. Do you think, you know, and here he's essentially an alien both literally and figuratively.
Yes.
Do you think that that's kind of, I guess, a commentary on where we're at in a society almost, as that we have a difficulty connecting with people, finding friends, making these real?
I think it must be, because you're absolutely right. There's a lot of success right now. I mean, the television show I'm on is essentially built on the same sort of premise, outsiders who trying to fit in. And so there's something going on that this is so popular and so desirable to see. And, you know, is the easy answer the right one? Is it all about the internet? Is it all about the virtual experience as opposed to the real one anymore? I don't know. I don't know why people feel isolated and want to see these types of connections or yearn for them. But it is out there right now. And I think it's reassuring to see the different ways in which it could happen. You know, I think a lot of these tales of outsiders, and this one is no exception, deal with sets of people who seem very, very apart in the beginning. And the story being told is the process of seeing the commonality between them. And there's something very rich about that. There's something very satisfying and hopeful, I think. And maybe that's it. Maybe the stories of the outsider fitting in is just a story of hope, and that's as important as anything.